What if I told you that wealth isn't built by chance, but by design? That behind every millionaire you admire stands not one, but several rivers of income quietly feeding their fortune? What if you realized that your single paycheck, the one you depend on, might be the very thing holding you back from freedom? That relying on one source is like balancing your entire life on a single, fragile thread. And what if you discovered that there are 7 timeless streams of income, 7 doors to opportunity that can transform not just your bank account, but your mindset, your freedom, your future? Take a deep breath with me, because what you're about to hear is not just about money, it's about possibility. It's about rewriting the story you've been told. The story that says you must work harder, longer, faster, just to survive. No, my friend. Wealth doesn't come from exhaustion. It comes from wisdom. It comes from learning how to let money flow to you through multiple channels, so when one slows, another still runs strong. So, if you've ever dreamed of a life where bills don't dictate your choices, where time is yours, and where you can provide not just for survival, but for legacy, then lean in, because this is the roadmap. Let's begin with the very first stream, the one most of us know well, yet often misunderstand. Number 1, earned income, the starting point. Earned income, it's where almost everyone begins. It's the money you receive from a job. From your labor, from trading your time for a paycheck. Maybe it's your 9-to-5 job. Maybe it's overtime. Freelancing or part-time gigs, however it shows up, this is usually the first river we all step into. And here's the truth. Earned income is important. It builds discipline. It sharpens skills. It teaches you responsibility. It pays the bills and gives you stability. But this is crucial, it has limits. Why? Because no matter how much you earn, your time is finite. There are only 24 hours in a day. And if your entire income depends on your time, then your income is capped. The double-edged sword. Imagine a man who works 60 hours a week, burning himself out, believing that if he just works harder, money will set him free, but he never realizes his income is chained to his presence. The moment he stops, the money stops. This is the trap of earned income. It's safe, but it can also become a golden cage, the lesson of earned income. Here's the key. Don't despise your job, but don't mistake it for freedom either. See it as a foundation, not the finish line. Your job is your training ground. It teaches you how to manage money, how to save, how to build the discipline you'll need for bigger ventures. Think of it this way. Your earned income is the seed. But a seed was never meant to remain alone. It must be planted, multiplied, and grown into a tree that bears fruit. How to elevate this stream? So, how do you maximize earned income while building your path forward? Upgrade your skills. The more valuable you are, the higher your income ceiling. Learn, grow, and negotiate for your worth. Live below your means. Don't let lifestyle inflation devour your earnings. What you keep matters more than what you make. Invest the surplus. Use your earned income to fund your future streams business, investments, property, royalties. So, earned income is where the journey starts. But if you stop here, you'll always be working for money instead of letting money work for you. That's why the second stream is so powerful. Shifts the focus from you doing everything to systems and ideas working for you. Let's step into the world of business income. Number 2, business income. Building systems beyond yourself. If earned income is the starting point, then business income is the leap. It's the moment you stop trading every hour for every dollar. And instead, you begin creating something bigger than yourself. Business income is what happens when your effort is multiplied through systems. Through people, through products, through services. It's no longer just about you showing up. It's about building something that works. Even when you step away, the essence of business income. Think about it. Every great company, from the smallest coffee shop to the biggest tech giant, started with an idea. Someone asked, what problem can I solve? What value can I bring? How can I create something that others will pay for? And then they acted. They created systems. They hired teams. They built structures that allowed money to flow in even when they weren't physically present every second. That's business income. It's not limited to your hours. It grows with your creativity, your vision, and your ability to serve others. Picture a young woman who loves baking. At first, she sells cookies to her neighbors after work. That's still earned income. It depends on her baking every batch. But then, she realizes she could hire 2 assistants, open a small storefront, and eventually package her recipes into ready-to-bake kits. Suddenly, she's not limited by her 2 hands. She has systems. She has reach. She has leverage. Her cookies aren't just desserts anymore. They're a business. And her business is an engine of income that grows while she sleeps. Why business income matters? Here's why this stream is powerful. It gives you leverage. You can reach hundreds, thousands, or millions through the right system. It teaches you leadership. Running a business requires vision, courage, and resilience. It allows true growth. Unlike a job, a business has no ceiling except the one you set. But let's be honest, business income isn't without risk. You might fail, you might stumble, you might lose money before you gain it. But every lesson, every setback, is part of the growth. Remember, fortune favors the bold. How to create business income. You don't need to start with a giant corporation. In fact, most streams of business income begin small, humble, and scrappy. Ask yourself, what skills or passions do I have that others would pay for? What problem can I solve for people? How can I package my knowledge, my craft, or my service in a way that reaches more people than just one at a time? It could be an online store, a consulting service, a digital product, a side hustle that grows into a full enterprise. Remember this, every empire started as a single step, a single product, a single customer. Business income also requires a mental leap when you work a job. You think like an employee. What tasks do I need to complete today? But as a business owner, you think differently. What systems do I need to create today that will keep working tomorrow? That shift from doing the work to building the system is what unlocks growth. So, business income takes you beyond your time, beyond your limits. It teaches you how to multiply yourself, how to lead, how to create lasting value. But there's another stream of income, one that feels quieter, calmer, but just as powerful. It's the kind of income that works in the background, like water slowly filling a reservoir. That stream is interest income, money earned, not from sweat, but from letting your money itself do the work. Number 3, interest income, making money work while you sleep. There comes a point in your journey when you realize something profound. You don't just have to earn money. Your money can earn for you. This is the power of interest income. It's quiet, it's steady. It doesn't require you to work an extra hour, lift an extra finger, or stay up an extra night. Instead, it rewards patience, discipline, and foresight. The essence of interest income. Interest income is what you earn when you lend your money out, whether to banks, to governments, or to businesses. It's the return you receive for trusting your capital to work in the marketplace. When you deposit money into a savings account, when you invest in bonds, when you put funds into certain financial instruments, you're essentially saying, here's my money, use it, and in return, pay me back with a little extra. That extra is interest, and over time, it adds up. A simple story. Imagine a man who puts aside $10 a day, just $10 the cost of a quick meal. He saves it, invests it, and earns even a modest interest rate. After 10 years, his money has quietly grown. He didn't have to sweat for those gains. He simply allowed time and interest to work on his behalf. Now imagine he did this not for 10 years, but for 20 or 30. Suddenly, he has not just savings, but wealth. This is the magic of compounding. Albert Einstein once called it the 8th wonder of the world, because interest, when compounded, doesn't just add, it multiplies. Why interest income matters? It rewards patience. Those who think long-term win. It creates stability. Even when other streams are uncertain, interest income often provides a steady flow. It builds quietly. You may not notice its growth day to day, but over decades it becomes undeniable. And here's the deeper truth. Interest income teaches you to respect money, to treat it not as something to spend recklessly, but as something alive, capable of working for you if you give it the chance. The discipline behind interest. But here's the catch. You can't earn interest if you never save. Too many people consume everything they earn, leaving nothing for the future. Think of money like seeds. If you eat them all today, there's nothing to plant for tomorrow. But if you set aside even a portion if you plant those seeds, they will grow into crops that feed you for years. That's interest income. It's the harvest of financial discipline. Practical ways to build interest income: savings accounts, modest but safe, government or corporate bonds. Lending your money to reliable institutions for steady returns, certificates of deposit. Locking money in for fixed periods in exchange for higher interest. It may not feel exciting, it may not feel glamorous, but remember, wealth is often built not on excitement, but on consistency. So, interest income shows us the quiet strength of patience. It whispers. You don't always need to run faster. Sometimes you just need to plant and wait. But there's another stream that takes things further. A stream that allows you to not just earn interest, but to share in the profits of the greatest companies in the world. This next stream is dividend income, a reward for owning pieces of businesses that thrive. Number 4, dividend income. Owning a piece of the profits. What if I told you that some of the world's most powerful companies could pay you simply for owning a piece of them? This is the power of dividend income. It's when a company shares a portion of its profits with its shareholders. People like you, people who believe in its vision, people who invest not just their money, but their trust. And unlike a paycheck, dividend income doesn't depend on how many hours you work. It depends on ownership, the essence of dividend income. When you buy stock in a company, you're not just pressing buttons on an app. You're becoming an owner, no matter how small. And when that company does well, when it grows and profits, it often says, "Thank you for believing in us. Here's your share of the rewards." That reward is a dividend. And when reinvested, it becomes a force of compounding power, a story to remember. Picture a young teacher named Sarah. Every month, she buys a handful of shares in companies she believes in. She doesn't have much, but she's consistent. Years pass. Her shares grow in value, and along the way, she receives dividends instead of spending them. She reinvests, buying more shares. Decades later, Sarah is no longer just a teacher. She's a quiet millionaire, not because she won the lottery, but because she let ownership and patience work together. This is the hidden beauty of dividend income. It doesn't just pay you once, it pays you again and again for as long as you own. Why dividend income matters? It's passive. You don't have to clock in to receive it, it grows. Companies often increase dividends as they grow, meaning your income can rise without you lifting a finger. It compounds reinvested dividends by more shares, which produce more dividends in an ever-expanding cycle. And here's the real treasure. Dividends can eventually replace your paycheck. Imagine your bills, your groceries, your lifestyle all covered by dividends flowing in from the companies you own. That's financial freedom, the discipline of ownership. But dividends require faith. Faith that the businesses you invest in will grow. Faith that the market, though unpredictable in the short term, always rewards patience in the long term. It's not about chasing quick wins. It's about choosing wisely, holding firmly, and letting time do its work. How to build dividend income? Start small. Even a few shares can begin the journey. Choose stability. Look for companies with a strong history of paying and increasing dividends. Reinvest. Don't spend your dividends at least not at first. Let them buy more shares and multiply your future. Remember, you don't have to own dozens of companies to succeed. Sometimes, a handful of steady, reliable businesses can carry you further than you imagine. So, Dividend income rewards ownership, patience, and trust in the growth of businesses. It teaches us that true wealth isn't about working harder, it's about owning more. And now, we step into another powerful stream, one that has built fortunes for centuries, one that turns physical property into long-term prosperity. The next river is rental income, the art of turning spaces into streams of wealth. Number 5, rental income. Turning properties into cash flow. There's a reason people say, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait, because rental income is one of the oldest, most reliable streams of wealth. It's the art of turning property into prosperity, of letting the roof over someone else's head become the foundation of your financial freedom. The essence of rental income, at its core, rental income is simple. You own a property, and others pay you to use it. It could be a home, an apartment, an office, or even land, month after month, year after year. Those payments flow into your account, and while markets rise and fall, people will always need a place to live, to work, to gather. That's why real estate has been called everlasting wealth, a story to remember. Imagine a man named David. In his 20s, he saves aggressively, buys a small duplex, and rents out one side while living in the other. The rent covers most of his mortgage. A few years later, he buys another property, then another. By his 40s, David owns multiple homes. Every month, tenants send in rent checks. Some months are easier than others: repairs, maintenance, vacancies, but overall, his wealth grows steadily by the time he retires. David no longer depends on a pension or paycheck. His properties provide a reliable, lasting income. That's the power of rental income. Why rental income matters? It's recurring. Rent arrives month after month, creating stability. It appreciates. Properties often grow in value over time. Multiplying your wealth, it builds equity. With every mortgage payment, you own more of the property. Your tenants are, in a sense, paying down your loan for you. It's not just income, it's ownership, it's growth, it's leverage. The challenges behind rental income, of course, no stream is without its challenges. Properties require care. Tenants come and go, markets shift. But here's the truth. The challenges of rental income are not obstacles, they're lessons. They teach patience, they teach problem solving. They teach you to see wealth as a living thing that requires attention, not just possession. How to build rental income? Start small. You don't need 10 houses to begin. Even one rental property can change your financial path. Think long-term, buy in areas with steady demand. Look for growth, stability, and potential. Use leverage wisely. Mortgages allow you to own more than you could with cash alone, but manage debt carefully. And remember, you don't have to be a landlord yourself. Some hire property managers to handle the daily tasks, leaving you with the income and freedom. Rental income isn't just about buildings. It's about perspective. It teaches you to see space not just as shelter, but as opportunity. It shifts your mind from consumer to creator, from tenant to owner. And when you see the world this way, you begin to notice opportunities everywhere. A small office, a garage apartment, even land that could one day grow in value. So, rental income provides stability, ownership, and legacy. It allows you to build something that outlasts you, something your children and their children can inherit. But there's another stream of wealth, one that doesn't come from rent or dividends, but from the increase in value of the very assets you hold. This next river is capital gains income, the profit that comes when your investments grow and you decide it's time to harvest. Number 6, capital gains, growing wealth through smart investing. If rental income is about steady flow, then capital gains are about the harvest. It's the profit you make when the value of something you own increases and you choose to sell it. It could be stocks, it could be real estate, it could be a business you built from the ground up. Whatever the asset, when you sell it for more than you paid, that difference is your capital gain. The essence of capital gains. Think of it like planting a tree. You buy a sapling today, nurture it, watch it grow. Years later, it's tall, strong, valuable if you sell it. You profit from the growth you patiently waited for. That's capital gains growth turned into cash. A story to remember. Let's return to Sarah, the teacher who invested in dividend stocks. Along with her dividends, her stocks themselves increased in value. The shares she bought for $50 each are now worth $150. One day, she decides to sell part of her holdings to pay off her house. The difference between what she paid and what she sold for, that's her capital gain. It wasn't magic, it wasn't luck. It was patience, discipline, and trust in growth. Why capital gains matter? It rewards vision. You see potential where others don't. It multiplies wealth. Assets often grow faster than wages. It creates freedom. A single sale, at the right time, can change the course of your finances. And here's something deeper. Capital gains remind us that time is wealth's greatest ally. Growth requires waiting, and those who wait with wisdom are often rewarded the most. The two faces of capital gains. There are two kinds of capital gains. Short-term, buying and selling quickly for fast profit. This can work, but it's risky and heavily taxed. Long-term, holding assets for years, sometimes decades, and selling only when necessary. This is where true wealth is built. Patience is not just a virtue, it's a strategy. How to build capital gains. Invest in growth, stocks, real estate, businesses, things that increase in value over time. Think long-term. Don't panic over short-term fluctuations. Focus on the big picture. Harvest wisely. Don't sell too soon out of fear, or too late out of greed. Learn to recognize the right moment. Remember, the harvest is sweetest when the fruit is ripe, not when it's forced. Capital gains are more than profit, they are proof. Proof that vision and patience create growth. Proof that wealth often belongs not to the fastest or loudest, but to the calm, steady hands who hold on through the storms. It's not about timing the market perfectly. It's about time in the market. So, capital gains reward patience and vision. They teach us to plant today and harvest tomorrow. But there is one final stream of income, one that feels different from all the rest. It doesn't come from savings, or rents, or even investments. It comes from your mind, your creativity, your uniqueness. Number 7. Royalty and licensing income. Create once, earn forever. If earned income is trading time for money, and capital gains are harvesting growth, then royalty and licensing income is something magical. It's when your creativity, your invention, your unique spark continues to earn for you again and again long after the work is done. The essence of royalty and licensing. Royalties are payments you receive for the ongoing use of something you created or own the rights to. It could be a book you wrote, a song you composed, a design you patented, or even software you developed. Licensing, on the other hand, allows others to use your intellectual property, your brand, your product, your idea, in exchange for regular payments. In both cases, you create once, but you earn repeatedly. A story to remember. Think of J.K. Rowling. She wrote the Harry Potter series decades ago. Yet every year, royalties flow in from book sales, movies, merchandise, and licensing deals. Her imagination turned into an empire. Or consider a musician who records a single song. Each time it's played, streamed, or used in a film, a royalty payment arrives. That one burst of creativity continues to generate income across time and generations. Even on a smaller scale, imagine someone who designs a logo and licenses it to companies, or an app developer who earns each time their creation is downloaded. The principle is the same. One act of creation, multiplied infinitely. Why royalty and licensing matters? It's scalable. A book, a song, a digital course once created can be sold millions of times without extra effort. It's timeless. Royalties can outlive the creator, benefiting children and grandchildren. It's deeply personal, unlike other streams. This one flows directly from your imagination, your talent, your originality. It's not just about money, it's about legacy, the challenges of creative income. But let's be honest, royalties don't come without effort. Creating something valuable requires courage, persistence, and rejection. Not every song will top the charts. Not every book will sell, yet for those who keep creating, who dare to share their work with the world, the rewards can be extraordinary. How to build royalty and licensing income. Right? Create, invent, books, music, art, software. Courses share what you know or dream up. Protect your rights. Register your intellectual property. Make sure it belongs to you. Think globally. The internet allows your work to reach the world, multiplying your audience beyond borders. Your creativity is not just self-expression, it's potential wealth waiting to be unlocked. Royalty and licensing income remind us of something profound. Wealth isn't only built with sweat, it's also born from spirit, from imagination, from daring to create what didn't exist before. It whispers a timeless truth. Your ideas are valuable. Don't hide them, share them. The world will pay for what only you can give. And now, we've walked through all 7 streams of income, from the stability of earned income to the magic of royalties. Each one plays a part in the symphony of wealth. But the real secret isn't just in knowing them, it's in weaving them together. This last river is royalty and licensing income, money earned from ideas, inventions, art, and intellectual property that continue to pay you long after the work is done. Final reminder, the symphony of wealth. Building your 7 streams of income, 7 rivers feeding into one ocean, your financial freedom. Each stream alone is powerful, but together they create resilience, they create abundance. They create a life where you are no longer chained to one fragile source. Earned income builds the foundation. Business income multiplies your effort. Interest income rewards your patience. Dividend income pays you for ownership. Rental income turns property into prosperity. Capital gains reward vision and time. Royalties and licensing turn ideas into legacy. This is the roadmap. This is the blueprint. And here's the deeper truth. Building wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about choice. It's about waking up each morning knowing your life is yours, not rented out to a job you despise. So let this be your call to action. Don't rely on one stream. Start small. Start where you are. But start building plant seeds in different fields. Nurture them. Let them grow. One day, you'll look back and realize you are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are not just working, you are free. Because the millionaire mindset isn't about the money. It's about designing a life where your streams of income flow endlessly, nourishing you, your family, and the generations yet to come. Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions, your breakthroughs, and let us know what you'd love to hear next. Subscribe to stay connected. And if this message could uplift someone you care about, send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.